Have you ever stared at your phone, wishing you could just dial up to heaven? Imagine if it were that easy. Punch in a few numbers and boom, you're connected to the divine. Well, today we're going to explore something even better than a heavenly hotline. We're diving into a spiritual idea that might just change the way you think about your connection with the higher powers. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just discover your own personal number to heaven. Now, before you start scrolling through your contacts list looking for heaven, let's clear something up. We're not talking about an actual phone number here. Sorry to disappoint, but you can't just call up and order a slice of cloud pizza with a side of angel wings. What we're really diving into are spiritual practices. Think of them as your personal code to unlock a deeper connection with the divine. You see, throughout history, people have been searching for ways to feel closer to heaven, whatever that means to them. Some climb mountains, others spend years in meditation, and some even try to build towers to reach the sky. But what if I told you that the key to heaven isn't about physical distance at all? It's about how we live our lives and the choices we make every single day. In different beliefs around the world, the idea of heaven takes on many forms. For some, it's a physical place with pearly gates and streets of gold. For others, it's a state of perfect peace and happiness. And for many, it's simply the feeling of being close to their higher power, whatever they believe that to be. But here's the kicker. What if heaven isn't just some far-off place we go to after we die? What if it's something we can experience right here, right now? That's the exciting journey we're about to embark on together. Let's start by breaking down this big, fluffy concept of heaven. It's a word that gets thrown around a lot, but what does it really mean? Well, that depends on who you ask. In many religions, heaven is seen as a paradise where the good folks go after they die. It's often described as a place of eternal happiness, where all your worries melt away and you get to hang out with your loved ones and maybe a few celestial beings forever. Sounds pretty sweet, right? But heaven isn't always about the afterlife. In some beliefs, it's more of a state of mind or a level of existence that we can reach while we're still alive and kicking. It's about finding perfect peace, understanding the mysteries of the universe, or becoming one with a higher power. Here's where it gets really interesting. What if heaven isn't a place at all? What if it's more like a feeling or a way of being? Think about those moments when everything just feels right. Maybe it's when you're surrounded by loved ones, or when you're doing something you're passionate about, or even just when you're sitting quietly and feeling completely at peace. Those moments? That could be a little taste of heaven right there. Now, I'm not saying that these moments are exactly the same as the eternal paradise that many religions describe, but they might give us a clue about what heaven feels like, and more importantly, how we can bring a bit of that heavenly feeling into our everyday lives. So, as we continue on this journey to find our number to heaven, keep this in mind. Heaven isn't just a destination, it's a way of living. It's about finding those moments of peace, love, and connection in our daily lives. And the best part? You don't need a special phone number or a secret code to access it. It's already within your reach. Now that we've got a handle on what heaven might mean, it's time to look inward. That's right. The next step on our heavenly hotline is all about you. But don't worry, this isn't some cheesy self-help seminar. We're talking about the powerful practice of self-reflection. So, what exactly is self-reflection? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like, taking a good, honest look at yourself. It's like being your own personal detective, but instead of solving crimes, you're unraveling the mysteries of your own thoughts, feelings, and actions. Why is this important in our quest for a heavenly connection? Well, think about it this way. How can you hope to connect with something greater than yourself if you don't even know who you are? Self-reflection helps us understand our own motivations, our strengths and weaknesses, and our deepest desires. It's like cleaning the lens of a telescope. The clearer our view of ourselves, the better we can see and appreciate the world around us, including any spiritual dimensions. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Ugh, do I really have to sit and think about myself? That sounds boring, and maybe a little scary. Trust me, I get it. Looking at ourselves honestly isn't always comfortable. We might not like everything we see. But here's the thing. That discomfort is where the growth happens. Let's break it down with an example. Imagine you get into an argument with a friend. In the heat of the moment, you say some things you regret. Now, you could just move on and pretend it never happened. But if you take some time to reflect, you might realize that you lashed out because you were feeling insecure about something. That insight doesn't just help you patch things up with your friend. It helps you understand yourself better and maybe even work on that insecurity. So how do we actually do this self-reflection thing? It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need to sit cross-legged on a mountaintop, although if that's your thing, go for it. It can be as simple as taking a few minutes each day to check in with yourself. Ask yourself questions like, how am I feeling right now? What made me happy today? What frustrated me? Did I act in a way that aligns with my values? What can I learn from my experiences today? You might want to jot down your thoughts in a journal, or just mull them over during your commute or while you're doing the dishes. The important thing is to make it a regular practice. Now, here's where self-reflection ties into our spiritual journey. As you get to know yourself better, you might start to notice patterns. Maybe you realize that you feel most at peace when you're helping others. Or perhaps you discover that you feel a sense of awe and connection when you're out in nature. These insights can be like signposts, pointing you towards experiences and practices that bring you closer to that heavenly feeling we talked about earlier. But self-reflection isn't just about the warm and fuzzy stuff. It's also about facing our shadows, the parts of ourselves we might not be so proud of. Maybe you realize you have a habit of judging others too harshly, or that you often put your own needs before those of others. Recognizing these traits isn't about beating yourself up. It's about identifying areas where you can grow and become a better version of yourself. And here's the really cool part. As you work on improving yourself, you might find that you naturally start to feel more connected to others and to the world around you. It's like you're tuning your personal radio to pick up more of those heavenly vibes. Remember, self-reflection isn't about reaching some perfect state of enlightenment. It's a lifelong journey of getting to know yourself better. Some days you might have profound insights, and other days you might feel like you're just going in circles. That's okay. The important thing is to keep at it. So, as we continue our search for that heavenly connection, remember this. The path to heaven starts within. By getting to know yourself better, the good, the bad, and everything in between, you're laying the groundwork for a deeper spiritual connection. It's like you're clearing the line to make that call to heaven. And the best part? The call is always free, and the line is always open. All you have to do is listen. All right, we've talked about understanding heaven and looking within ourselves. Now it's time to turn our attention outward. The next step on our journey to heaven is all about kindness and love. And no, I'm not about to break into a cheesy love song. You're welcome. When we think about heaven, one of the first things that comes to mind is often perfect peace and harmony. Well, guess what? We have the power to create a little slice of that heaven right here on earth through our actions. That's where kindness and love come in. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Sure, kindness is great and all, but how is being nice to people going to get me closer to heaven? Well, let me tell you, it's more powerful than you might think. Think about the last time someone was unexpectedly kind to you. Maybe a stranger held the door open when your hands were full, or a friend called just to check in when you were having a rough day. How did that make you feel? Chances are, it brightened your day a little bit. For that moment, the world felt a little warmer, a little more welcoming. That, my friends, is a taste of heaven. But here's the really cool part. When you're the one showing kindness, that heavenly feeling multiplies. It's like you're not just experiencing a bit of heaven, you're actually creating it. And the best part? It's contagious. Your kindness can inspire others to be kind, creating a ripple effect of goodness. Now, when we talk about kindness and love, we're not just talking about grand gestures or over-the-top displays of affection. Sometimes the most powerful acts of kindness are the small, everyday ones. Let's break it down with some examples. Smile at strangers. It costs nothing, takes just a second, and can brighten someone's entire day. Listen actively. When someone is talking to you, really listen. Put away your phone, make eye contact, and show them that they have your full attention. Offer help. If you see someone struggling with groceries, offer to lend a hand. If a coworker seems overwhelmed, ask if there's anything you can do to help. Give compliments. Noticed your friend's new haircut? Tell them it looks great. Enjoyed a meal someone cooked? Let them know how much you appreciated it. Be patient. Whether it's with a slow cashier, a learning child, or a confused elderly person, practicing patience is a powerful form of kindness. Forgive. Holding on to anger and resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or excusing bad behavior, but it does mean letting go of the negative emotions for your own peace of mind. Show appreciation. Thank people for their efforts, no matter how small. A heartfelt thank you can mean the world to someone. Be kind to yourself. Remember, you're a person too. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you'd show to a good friend. These might seem like small things, but they add up. Each act of kindness is like a little spark of light. And when we all contribute our sparks, we can light up the world. Now, let's talk about love. And no, I don't just mean romantic love, although that's great too. I'm talking about a broader kind of love. Love for humanity, love for the world around us, love for life itself. This kind of love is about seeing the inherent worth in every person, even those who are different from us or who we might not get along with. It's about recognizing our shared humanity and treating others with respect and compassion. Practicing this kind of love isn't always easy. Let's face it, some people are just hard to like, let alone love. But here's the thing, loving doesn't always mean liking. It means treating others with kindness and respect, even when it's difficult. It means recognizing that everyone is fighting their own battles and showing compassion even when we don't understand or agree with someone's actions. Here's a challenge for you. Try to approach each person you meet with the assumption that they're doing the best they can with what they have. This doesn't mean excusing bad behavior, but it does mean approaching others with empathy and understanding rather than judgment. When we practice this kind of love and kindness, something amazing happens. We start to feel more connected to others, to the world around us, and yes, even to that divine sense we've been talking about. It's like we're tuning into the frequency of heaven. Think about it this way. If heaven is a place of perfect peace and harmony, then every time we create a moment of peace or harmony here on earth, we're bringing a little bit of heaven down to us. We're not just dialing the number to heaven. We're turning our whole lives into a direct line. But here's the really beautiful part. This isn't just about getting closer to heaven for ourselves. By practicing kindness and love, we're creating little pockets of heaven for others too. We're making the world a little bit brighter, a little bit kinder, a little bit more heavenly for everyone around us. So as we continue on our journey to find that heavenly connection, remember this. Kindness and love are like your spiritual currency. The more you give out, the richer you become. And unlike money, you'll never run out. In fact, the more kindness and love you share, the more you'll find you have to give. So go ahead, be generous with your kindness. Sprinkle that love around like confetti. You never know. The heaven you're looking for might just be in the smile of the stranger you held the door for, or in the grateful eyes of the friend you listened to. And bit by bit, act by act, you'll be bringing heaven a little closer to earth. Let's talk about something that can really change your life: gratitude. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Gratitude? Isn't that just saying thank you when someone holds the door open? Well, it's that, but it's also so much more. Gratitude is like a superpower that can transform how you see the world and bring you closer to that heavenly feeling we're after. So, what exactly is gratitude? Simply put, it's the practice of recognizing and appreciating the good things in your life. It's about focusing on what you have rather than what you lack. And let me tell you, this simple shift in perspective can work wonders. Think about it this way. Have you ever had a day where everything seems to go wrong? Your alarm doesn't go off, you spill coffee on your shirt, you get stuck in traffic. On days like that, it's easy to feel like the whole world is against you. But what if, instead of focusing on all those annoyances, you took a moment to appreciate the good things? Maybe you're grateful for the comfortable bed you woke up in, or the fact that you have a job to go to, or the music that made your time in traffic a little more bearable. When we practice gratitude, we're training our brains to notice the positive things in our lives. It's like tuning a radio. The more we focus on the good stuff, the clearer that signal becomes. And here's the cool part: the more we practice gratitude, the more we find to be grateful for. It's like our brains develop a grateful muscle that gets stronger with use. Now, you might be wondering, what does this have to do with finding a connection to heaven? Well, think about it. If heaven is a place of perfect peace and contentment, then gratitude is like a little taste of that right here on earth. When we're truly grateful, we're content with what we have. We're at peace with our lives. We're experiencing a little slice of heaven. But gratitude isn't just about feeling good. It can have some pretty amazing effects on our lives. Studies have shown that people who practice gratitude regularly are happier, less stressed, and even healthier. They tend to sleep better, have stronger relationships, and are more resilient in the face of challenges. It's like gratitude is a magic key that unlocks all sorts of heavenly benefits. So how can we cultivate more gratitude in our lives? Here are a few simple practices you can try. Keep a gratitude journal. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big things. Maybe you're grateful for your morning coffee, or the way the sunlight streams through your window, or the text from a friend that made you smile. Practice mindful appreciation. Throughout your day, try to pause and really appreciate the good things as they happen. Feel the warmth of the sun on your face. Savor the taste of your food. Really listen to the laughter of your loved ones. Express your gratitude to others. When someone does something you appreciate, let them know. Not only will it make them feel good, but it'll reinforce your own feelings of gratitude. Try a gratitude meditation. Take a few minutes each day to sit quietly and reflect on the things you're thankful for. Really let yourself feel the warmth of that gratitude in your body. Turn negatives into positives. When something bad happens, try to find something to be grateful for in the situation. Maybe that flat tire made you slow down and appreciate the beauty around you. Or maybe that argument with a friend helped you understand each other better. Remember, gratitude is like any other skill. It gets easier with practice. At first, you might find it challenging to come up with things to be grateful for, especially on tough days. But stick with it. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. And here's something really cool to think about. Gratitude can create a positive feedback loop in your life. When you're grateful, you tend to be more positive and optimistic. This can lead to better relationships, more opportunities, and a greater sense of well-being, which in turn gives you more to be grateful for. It's like you're creating your own little piece of heaven right here on earth. So as we continue our journey towards that heavenly connection, let's make gratitude a key part of our spiritual toolkit. It's like we're sending a thank you note to the universe, acknowledging all the good things in our lives. And who knows, maybe that's exactly the kind of message that gets heaven's attention. Now, let's dive into something that's been a part of spiritual practices for thousands of years: meditation and prayer. Don't worry, we're not going to get all preachy here. Whether you're religious, spiritual, or none of the above, these practices can be powerful tools in our quest for a heavenly connection. Let's start with meditation. Now, when you hear meditation, you might picture monks sitting cross-legged on a mountaintop, completely zoned out. But meditation doesn't have to be that intense or complicated. At its core, meditation is simply the practice of focusing your mind and becoming more aware of the present moment. Think of meditation as a gym workout for your mind. Just like exercise helps keep your body healthy and strong, meditation helps keep your mind clear and focused. It's like hitting the pause button on the constant chatter in your head, giving yourself a moment of peace and quiet. There are many different types of meditation, but one of the simplest is mindfulness meditation. Here's how it works. Find a quiet, comfortable place to sit. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Focus your attention on your breath. Notice how it feels as you inhale and exhale. When your mind wanders, and it will, that's totally normal. Gently bring your attention back to your breath. That's it. Start with just a few minutes a day and gradually increase the time as you get more comfortable with the practice. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but how does sitting and breathing bring me closer to heaven? Well, here's the thing. Meditation helps calm the constant noise in our minds, allowing us to tap into something deeper. It's like clearing static from a radio signal. Suddenly, we can hear the music more clearly. Many people report feeling a sense of peace, clarity, or even a connection to something greater than themselves during meditation. It's like creating a quiet space where you can listen for that heavenly whisper we've been talking about. Now, let's talk about prayer. Prayer is often associated with specific religions, but at its core, it's simply a way of communicating with a higher power or the universe. It's like picking up a spiritual phone and dialing that number to heaven. Prayer can take many forms. It might be reciting traditional prayers, having a conversation with God or the universe, or simply expressing gratitude and hopes. The key is that it comes from your heart. Here's the cool thing about prayer. It's not just about asking for things. Sure, we might pray for help or guidance when we're struggling, but prayer can also be a way of expressing thanks, offering love, or simply feeling connected to something greater than ourselves. If you're not religious or aren't comfortable with the idea of praying to a specific deity, you can still practice a form of prayer. Try this. Find a quiet moment in your day. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Think about the things you're grateful for, the hopes you have, or the love you feel for others. Imagine sending these thoughts and feelings out into the universe. This practice can help you feel more connected and centered, regardless of your beliefs. Now, here's where meditation and prayer can work together beautifully. Meditation can help quiet your mind, making it easier to focus on prayer, and prayer can give your meditation a sense of purpose and direction. Both meditation and prayer have been shown to have some pretty amazing benefits. They can reduce stress, improve emotional well-being, and even have positive effects on physical health. But beyond these tangible benefits, many people report that regular meditation and prayer help them feel more connected to themselves, to others, and to something greater than themselves. It's like meditation and prayer are tools that help us tune into that heavenly frequency we've been talking about. They create space in our busy lives for something deeper, something that goes beyond our day-to-day concerns. But here's the thing, just like with gratitude, meditation and prayer are practices. They take time and consistency to really see the benefits. Don't get discouraged if your mind wanders during meditation or if you don't feel an immediate connection during prayer. That's all part of the process. Start small, maybe just a few minutes of meditation or a short prayer each day. The important thing is to make it a regular part of your routine. It's like you're setting up a daily appointment with the divine, creating space in your life for that heavenly connection. Remember, there's no one right way to meditate or pray. Experiment with different techniques and find what works best for you. Some people like guided meditations, others prefer silent reflection. Some find comfort in traditional prayers, while others prefer spontaneous conversation with the divine. The key is to approach these practices with an open heart and mind. They're not about achieving some perfect state of enlightenment, but about creating moments of peace, clarity, and connection in your everyday life. So as we continue our journey towards that heavenly connection, let's make meditation and prayer part of our daily routine. Think of them as your spiritual check-ins, your moments to step away from the noise of the world and tune into something deeper. Who knows? In those quiet moments of reflection, you might just hear heaven calling. Now, let's talk about something that can really light up your life, living with purpose. This isn't about having some grand, world-changing mission, although if you do, that's awesome. It's about finding meaning in your everyday life and aligning your actions with your values. It's about waking up each day with a sense of direction and going to bed each night feeling like you've made a difference, no matter how small. So, what exactly do we mean by purpose? Well, it's kind of like your personal North Star, the guiding light that helps you navigate life's ups and downs. It's the reason you get out of bed in the morning, the thing that makes you feel alive and fulfilled. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Your purpose doesn't have to be some big, dramatic thing. It doesn't have to involve saving the world or becoming famous. Your purpose could be as simple as being the best parent you can be, spreading kindness in your community, or creating beautiful art that brings joy to others. The key is that it's meaningful to you and aligns with your values. Finding your purpose might sound like a daunting task, but it doesn't have to be. Here are a few questions you can ask yourself to start uncovering your purpose. What are you passionate about? What activities make you lose track of time? What are your unique strengths and talents? How can you use them to help others? What issues or causes do you care deeply about? When do you feel most alive and fulfilled? If you had all the time and resources in the world, what would you do? Take some time to reflect on these questions. You might be surprised at what bubbles up. And remember, your purpose can evolve over time. What gives your life meaning at 25 might be different from what gives it meaning at 45 or 65. Now, you might be wondering, what does living with purpose have to do with connecting to heaven? Well, think about it this way. If heaven is a state of perfect fulfillment and harmony, then living with purpose is like creating a little piece of heaven right here on earth. When we're living in alignment with our purpose, we feel more fulfilled, more energized, more alive. It's like we're tapping into something greater than ourselves. We're no longer just going through the motions of life, but actively participating in creating something meaningful. Living with purpose also helps us navigate life's challenges. When we have a clear sense of what's important to us, it's easier to make decisions and stay focused, even when things get tough. It's like having a compass that always points us in the right direction. But here's the really cool part. When we live with purpose, we often find that we're not just improving our own lives, but also making a positive impact on the world around us. Whether it's through our work, our relationships, or our community involvement, living with purpose often involves contributing to something bigger than ourselves. And isn't that what heaven is all about? A place where everyone is living in harmony, contributing to the greater good, and feeling deeply fulfilled? By living with purpose, we're not just connecting to heaven. We're bringing a bit of heaven down to earth. So how can we incorporate more purpose into our daily lives? Here are a few ideas. Start each day with intention. Before you get out of bed, take a moment to think about what you want to accomplish that day, not just in terms of tasks, but in terms of how you want to show up in the world. Align your actions with your values. Make choices that reflect what's truly important to you, even in small ways. Look for ways to use your strengths and passions to help others. This could be through your work, volunteering, or even just in your everyday interactions. Practice mindfulness. Stay present and engaged in what you're doing, rather than just going through the motions. Reflect regularly. Take time to think about whether your actions are aligned with your purpose. If not, what adjustments can you make? Be open to growth and change. Your purpose might evolve over time, and that's okay. Stay open to new possibilities and experiences. Find ways to contribute to your community. Whether it's volunteering, supporting local businesses, or just being a good neighbor, look for ways to make a positive impact. Remember, living with purpose isn't about being perfect or achieving some grand goal. It's about making conscious choices each day that align with what's truly important to you. It's about living intentionally rather than just letting life happen to you. And here's a beautiful thing. When we live with purpose, we often inspire others to do the same. It's like we're creating a ripple effect of meaning and fulfillment that spreads out into the world. And isn't that a heavenly thought? So as we continue our journey towards that heavenly connection, let's make living with purpose a key part of our path. It's like we're co-creating with the divine, bringing a bit of heaven's harmony and fulfillment into our everyday lives. And who knows? Maybe that's exactly what heaven has been waiting for us to do all along. Now that we've explored all these steps on our journey to find that heavenly connection, let's take a moment to bring it all together. We've covered a lot of ground, from understanding what heaven means to us, to looking inward through self-reflection, spreading kindness and love, practicing gratitude, exploring meditation and prayer, and living with purpose. It's like we've been putting together pieces of a beautiful puzzle, and now we're starting to see the bigger picture. Remember when we started this journey, wondering if there was a secret number to call heaven? Well, it turns out that the number we've been looking for isn't something you can dial on a phone. It's more like a combination of practices and mindsets that, when put together, create a direct line to that heavenly feeling we've been seeking. Understanding heaven. We learn that heaven isn't just a far-off place, but a state of being that we can experience right here and now. It's about finding moments of peace, love, and connection in our everyday lives. Self-reflection. By looking inward and getting to know ourselves better, we clear the lines of communication. It's like we're making sure our spiritual phone is in good working order. Kindness and love. Through acts of kindness and by cultivating love for others and ourselves, we're creating little pockets of heaven on earth. It's like we're sending out a signal that heaven can't ignore. Gratitude. By appreciating the good things in our lives, we're tuning into the frequency of abundance and joy. It's like we're saying thank you to the universe, and the universe responds in kind. Meditation and prayer. These practices help us quiet the noise of everyday life and create space for that heavenly connection. It's like we're sitting by the spiritual phone, ready to receive the call. Living with purpose. By aligning our actions with our values and finding meaning in our daily lives, we're co-creating with the divine. It's like we're actively participating in bringing heaven to earth. When we put all these practices together, something magical happens. We start to realize that heaven isn't some distant place we're trying to reach. Instead, it's a state of being that we can cultivate right here, right now. It's in the smile we share with a stranger, the moment of peace we find in meditation, the gratitude we feel for a beautiful sunset, the sense of purpose we get from helping others. It's like we've been looking for heaven out there somewhere, when really, it's been within us and around us all along. We just needed to learn how to tune into it. And here's the really beautiful part. As we practice these steps, we're not just connecting to heaven for ourselves. We're actually bringing more of that heavenly energy into the world. Every act of kindness, every moment of gratitude, every purposeful action is like a little spark of heaven lighting up the world around us. Think about it. What if everyone started practicing these steps? What if we all started reflecting on ourselves, showing more kindness, feeling more gratitude, taking time for spiritual practices, and living with purpose? The world would start to look a lot more like the heaven we've been imagining, wouldn't it? So as we wrap up our journey, remember this: the number to heaven isn't something outside of you. It's a combination of choices you make and practices you cultivate every day. It's about how you treat yourself, how you treat others, and how you engage with the world around you. And the best part? This heavenly hotline is always open. You don't need any special equipment or to be in any particular place. You can dial in anytime, anywhere, just by choosing kindness, practicing gratitude, reflecting inward, meditating or praying, and living with purpose. As we come to the end of our exploration, let's take a moment to reflect on the journey we've taken together. We started with a simple, almost whimsical question: what's the number to heaven? And what we've discovered is something far more profound and beautiful than we might have imagined. We've learned that the connection to heaven isn't about finding some magical phone number or secret code. It's about cultivating a way of living that brings more light, love, and purpose into our lives and the world around us. It's about creating heaven on earth, one small act at a time. Remember, this journey isn't about reaching some perfect, enlightened state. It's not about never making mistakes or never feeling down. It's about consistently choosing to tune into that heavenly frequency, even when life gets tough. It's about remembering that you have the power to create little moments of heaven in your everyday life. So, what's next? Well, that's up to you. You've got all the tools you need to start dialing your own number to heaven. Maybe you'll start with a daily gratitude practice, or perhaps you'll focus on spreading more kindness in your community. Maybe you'll dive into meditation or prayer, or perhaps you'll spend some time reflecting on your purpose. Whatever you choose, remember that this is a journey, not a destination. There will be days when you feel deeply connected to that heavenly energy, and days when it feels more distant. That's okay. The important thing is to keep practicing, keep showing up, keep dialing that number. And here's a final thought to take with you. As you continue on this path, you might find that you're not just connecting to heaven, you're becoming a little piece of heaven yourself. Your kindness, your gratitude, your purposeful living becomes a light that others are drawn to. You become a channel for that heavenly energy to flow into the world. So go ahead, pick up that spiritual phone. Heaven is waiting on the line, and the connection is always clear. The number to dial? It's kindness, gratitude, self-reflection, spiritual practice, and purposeful living. And the best part? It's toll-free, and you can call anytime. Thank you for joining me on this journey. May your connection to heaven be strong, clear, and filled with love. And remember, every time you dial that number, every time you choose kindness, express gratitude, look inward, connect with the divine, and live with purpose, you're not just reaching heaven. You're bringing a little piece of heaven down to earth. And that, my friends, is the most beautiful call we can make.